Welcome to MistFits Unmuted, a podcast where we talk about anything we think people will like about Mist or just Wi-Fi and networking technology in general. And we hope to keep it interesting. Each episode, basically, we're bringing on a different member of the Misfits. For those who don't know, is basically an ambassador of, HPE Mist and a product evangelist and a Marvis superfan group. And we recognize our long-term supporters, and it's a nice collaboration that we have with the people that are in the Misfits group. So the topic for each episode will be whatever the guests want to chat about, and as long as it's network related and something cool, you'll get to get some good insights as to what's going on in the industry. So today is going to be quite a cool topic as well. My name's Stephen Cooper, and I'd like to introduce my co-host, Robert Boardman.
Hi, my name is Robert Boardman. Cooper and I are PLMs here at HPE Mist. It's weird. It's changing where we are. But today we have on the podcast, we have François Vergès. François, can you introduce yourself and kind of tell us how you became a Misfit?
Yes, thank you guys for having me. It's actually a pleasure to be with you today, and you did a really good job on my last name, Rob. Congrats.
1 out of 10.
So my name is François Vergès. I run a business called SemFio Networks in Canada. We are a Wi-Fi engineering firm, and we tend to work on complex Wi-Fi environments. We do some designs, and we also, because we work on some complex environments, we also dabble into automation, and that's actually the topic that I wanted to talk about today, and come on the show and talk about more specifically how we can use the Mist APIs to do some automation related to Wi-Fi. We've done some cool stuff as part of what we do on a daily basis, so I thought it could be an interesting conversation to have with you guys. I know you have a little bit of experience as well, and we can let people know the potential of the Mist APIs.
Very cool. So we all know that kind of Mist was built as an API first platform, so it makes it really easy for automation, and we like to say kind of you're up to your imagination to what you want to do with it. So because in fact, I think only 80% is what we say actually ever makes to the UI. There's another 20% that's hidden within the API. So it's always fun to see what people are doing with automations. How did you get started with using the APIs, François?
So actually, I think you don't stress enough the API first approach, because I think to me it's very important. That's what drew me to Mist in the first place. I remember I first heard about Mist when I was attending one of the Mobility Field Day events, and at that time they were still Mist, right? They were not even Juniper yet, and they were talking about this new technology that they were developing, and then the microservices, the cloud, API first, AI. But for the first time, at least for me, it felt like real AI. It didn't feel like the marketing AI word. So I kept listening carefully, and then I understood the API first approach, which means that everything that you can do in the dashboard pretty much is implemented via the API first, and then the UI is kind of like the cloud tool that we use, the manage.mist.com, is kind of like a nice UI wrapper around the API. And what that means is that you can, sky's the limit in terms of what you can do with it. Your imagination could be the limit of what you can do with it, as long as you understand what the API can do. So that's, kind of like how I got started and interested into the Mist API. I was just attending that event and telling myself, this is a future-proof solution. I want to know more about it, and that's kind of like how it's sparked my interest. Yeah.
Huh. Very cool. I was gonna say, I think you and I were both around that same table.
Yeah. The blue AP you have behind you is an AP I got at that exact event. Yeah. So if you guys are listening to this, you should watch on YouTube, so you know what we're talking about.
Rob's got his behind him.
I'm gonna say, I've got a few trinkets back there from the old days.
I was going to say, speaking of Mobility Field Day and some of the public forum presentations, only a small amount of airtime has really been given about automation and APIs in the past, from what I recall. Like, we have some out-of-the-box, integrations with things like ServiceNow, but obviously over time there's been Python scripts developed, Postman, runner collections, and now we're starting to get into this realm where everyone's using vibe coding and AI tools and MCP servers. So it's going to be quite interesting to see where things go. But have you got some examples that you've done, Francois, either for your customers or just playing around, or anything that you've actually leveraged? Because I know you've done quite a few talks on automation at past WLPCs as well, which has been fascinating to see. So yeah, just keen to see if you've got any examples you wanted to share.
Yes, and I feel like, to kind of follow up on what you just said, I feel like the API is underused by the customer base. And you guys probably see this on a daily basis. Most people use the dashboard. So I'm always advocating to, people, you should try this, you should do this, you should. So maybe you're right. Maybe giving out some real world example will spark the interest for some of the partners and customers. But the way I started is I started very simple. I started to actually get back into programming, because I did it back in engineering school and I didn't like it. That's why I ended up in networking. And then I was like, maybe I should try it again. Now that I kind of, I was telling myself, now that I can apply it to my job, maybe I should start it again. And so I started to get back into Python, and I kind of used the Mist API as a way for me to stay interested, find use cases. So I would, start very simply by, how do I make an API call? And once I've made an API call, what can I do with it? Oh, I can get access to my AP list, or I can get to my inventory, or I can claim an AP. And so slowly but surely, I kind of built, some Python script, and that led me to create my own Python library on how to interact with Mist. This feels very old school now, at the age of MCPs, but I guess it gave me the ground, a good understanding of what the Mist API can do, and a good understanding of what you can do with Python today, how to organize a program, how to deploy, what is GitHub. So, all of these little fundamentals, I kind of use the Mist API to help me learn all of this. And so, in the real world, for some of the customers that we have, we've done a couple of things with the Mist API. We did some kind of day two operations. We had this customer that had a large amount of sites, and they didn't necessarily want to have all of the details that you have in the Mist dashboard. They wanted to kind of have a map view of their site, which is like a Wi-Fi status color. So green means the Wi-Fi is on, red means the Wi-Fi is down, and they could actually publish that to all of their store managers. It was a retail, so they wanted to be able to kind of like you have like the electricity map for your city, so where you have outage. So they kind of wanted to have that for their store managers. So whenever they have an issue, they can go on that link and make sure that the infrastructure is up.
You made down detector for Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. And we used something called the webhooks to make this happen. So this was a nice project. Another one we did was we had an interesting case where a customer wanted one SSID but different set of authentication. So we built a custom captive portals that would handle guests, that would handle Azure SSO authentication. So the customer would have what they wanted, which was pretty much just one SSID.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, so that was, the Mist part in this was very easy. The Microsoft part in this was a little trickier. Let's put it that way. And that's another advantage of the being API first, is that sometimes it's way easier when it comes to the implementation of doing it. And then another example, maybe if we get time, I'll show it to you. We built an interface that helps with deploying Wi-Fi sites from a Wi-Fi design. So if you have a Ekahau, if you have a Hamina design, then we built a tool that helps deploy it, and it supports things like site groups and site variables. And if you're in the Mist realm,
cool.
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and then
you will have to make time for that demo, because that's cool.
Thank you, Rob, for the good teaser. And then, but the best part of this tool is the validation piece. So the idea was to have a page that would help you validate how the installs are going, because they replace multiple store overnight. So we built also like installation validation tool that will grab information from the Mist APIs, compare them to the Wi-Fi design data, and tell you if the installers have installed the APs according to the plan. And if it deviates, then you have something to go back to the installer to, and you can tell them, you installed the AP on the wall where it was defined under the ceiling. Can you please fix it? Or this AP doesn't have enough PoE power. Can you validate the cables? And this is personally, this is my favorite part of the tool, because it helps the people follow up live, how the AP installation is doing, and they can act fast, versus letting the installer do the work and then calling them back when things are not working properly. So these are a couple of real world examples. And it uses, we haven't talked about the different type of APIs, but it uses a combination of the webhooks, the RESTful APIs. I've also done some work for location. It was not really application, it was more like scripting, but we've done some BLE deployments. So we would script using the WebSockets, we would script, how often we would get location data from tags during the validation process, so we can have a good understanding, of how the system is working, and if the system is working well.
Yeah. I think you said something very cool. Oh, go ahead, Cooper.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, a lot of the examples you brought up, Francois, was like, the data is there in Mist, and there's already obviously a lot of features that we have built in for automation and provisioning and deployment. But you basically summarized it saying the APIs have allowed you to build something custom and bespoke to the workflows and the use cases for your customers in the way that they deploy things, which I think is really important, which people don't realize. Just because we have a product and the dashboard is a certain way doesn't mean that has to be the only way you can consume it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, I think the interesting thing that you said in the beginning was how you got started. And I think a lot of people are scared because they hear what you've done with it and you're like, oh, I could never do that. Like Microsoft SSO, webhooks, WebSockets. It starts with doing that first just looking at an API and seeing it, because you hear things like JSON, but then when you look at JSON, you're like, oh, it's really not that hard to read. It's not. When you start to look at it, it's a structured language, so it's pretty explanatory in how you use it. And then you just start building on those. Now I'm doing puts. Now I'm doing posts. Now I'm looking at Python. Or in this case, now I'm talking to Claude.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're on the subject on how to get started with all of this, it can be overwhelming. But there's also a lot of resources available to us. If you guys have the ability to attend Juniper courses, there's a Juniper course on automation. It's like a 4-day full-on course, and I don't know if you guys have done it. But it's it goes through all of the how the API works, how it's structured. You have labs. You get introduced to things like Postmans. You do some little Python scripts. So if you can attend this course, and let me get the name because I've written it down. It's called Automating Juniper Mist AI Enterprise. And if you can do this, that would be the best way to get introduced to everything. If you're on your own, you can start with looking at the API documentation. If you do mist.com/API, this will redirect you to the Mist API documentation. If this is a little dry to you and you've never done programming before, you can take a look at the Postman collection. There is the Mist Postman collection that you can download and play with in Postman. And then what's even nicer as well is, and if you want some real world examples, you can go back to your dashboard, you can go back to manage.mist.com, and then you can inspect. Maybe I can show this really quickly. Let me share my screen.
Good
because
segue to a demo.
yeah,
Exactly.
look at that. Look at that. So I'm going to share my screen to show it to you guys. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Nice. Yep, we can see it.
Okay, cool. So if I'm on the Mist dashboard, what I can do is I'm using Safari here, but you can do the same thing with any browser. I can do a right click, inspect element. This will bring up the what they call the developer toolbar, and you will find the network tab. And in the network tab, you can filter using the API URL. So depending on the cloud that you're using, it may be a little different. I'm using GC2, so for me it will be API .gc2.mist.com. If I can spell. Yeah. And then if I refresh my page, I will see all of the calls, the API calls that are being made by my browser to the Mist API. And if I choose one, this one is called sites, and you can see the full URL of that API call. So I can understand now how this call is made. And then if I go to preview, I can see the answer, I can see the response, I can take a look at what the format is for the response, and I can start studying which API calls are being made when in the browser I'm creating a site, or I'm claiming an AP, or I'm taking a look at the client statistics. And you can kind of, follow what's going on in the backend as you're using the dashboard. So it's a nice way to kind of try to understand, what's going on with the API.
One of the nice things you can do if you need to, like when you're saying which cloud you're in, if you just look at the URL that you're at in your manage.mist, it'll always tell you.
Yeah.
So at the front of it, see how it says GC2, you can just literally replace that manage with API, take a copy, and
Yes.
you'll be good. Also, we list all of inside of like the developer, I think it's the API section or the developer section, we list all the different endpoints for API as well. I was going to say another cool way to interact with it, if you've used it, Francois, is if you right-click the HTTPS GET, you can actually open up the Django framework and actually see.
Are you talking about here at the top?
Yeah. Go back to down here and pick one of your API calls. See where it actually where it gives you that URL where it shows you
a new window.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can open a new window there with that URL.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
I think even on the left-hand side where it had sites, you can go open your window. It does the same thing. Yeah.
And now you get the actual Django, and then you get the Django framework that you can actually look in and play with. And so you can
That's
actually.
how I became familiar with it in the first place too. Was just like clicking around the dashboard and looking at all the different endpoints and.
Yep. And if you go downwards, you can actually start. You can all the way down at the bottom. You can actually change it to a post. You can actually make changes here. You can actually interact. Mm-hmm. So it's actually very cool. Be very careful with the post, though. I'd hate for you to wipe out your.
Yes. Well, this is you see the name of my org here, so.
Demo.
Yeah.
All right.
I should be fine with this one.
So just type in null and nice curly brackets, and you'll be fine.
I'll try this after the podcast, okay? I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, we've got a few minutes. Did you want to show what you were working on, Francois?
Yeah, sure. So I'll show you the little tool that we have here. So this tool, this is the one that you can use to deploy different sites and to follow the installation of different sites. And we have in the settings, I can configure my Mist API stuff, my cloud, my token. it from my token here, it automatically retrieved my organization. And then we had additional settings here where I can configure what I call a site types, which will regroup some of the templates that we've created in Mist. And then I have some AP firmware validations here that we use for the validation. So we have a couple of settings that we have available here to make this work. The dashboard is just going to show you on the map what's going on. We also have a list of sites here that has been pre-configured, not deployed yet. And if I want to deploy a new site, I can go on the configures and here I can select the type of site I want to deploy. In this case, I'm going to do a store. I could adjust the configuration. I could create site variables if I wanted to here. And then what I could do here is upload the Wi-Fi design. So I have like a little Hamina design here, very simple store. And then what I did in Hamina is I exported it as an open intent file, which pretty much gathers the floor plan and the information about the design into a JSON file. And then I can load this into my tool. So I'm going to do the Ottawa store here. And then what I also have here, what I can also do is import the list of access points. And this is a very simple list, and you can actually extract this from the inventory from your Mist Cloud. It's just the MAC address of the access points. And usually what happened in this case is the installers, they receive pallets of access points, and then they are the one responsible for putting the label, the name of the AP on the AP itself. So they do the correspondence between the AP name and the MAC address. And once I've done this, the tool will extract the information. The address, I'm going to put a fake address here up. Let's call it this. And then it's going to extract the floor plan from that Wi-Fi design, the AP location, so we can validate that information. And then it's going to extract all of the APs, the AP names. It's going to match them with the MAC addresses. And then we also have a feature here where it will detect if we have any device profiles for the AP model and automatically assign to the APs. And the device profile, this is like a Mist feature that allows you to set specific AP configurations to your APs. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I can configure this, but the idea was to not have to do anything. Just upload the files, click configure. And what this will do is it will take all of that information and create the site on the Mist end using the APIs. It creates a site, upload the map, place the APs on the map, claim the APs, configure the APs, apply the templates to the site. And then the site is, it will be ready in Mist. Here it's telling me that some of the APs have not been claimed. Yes, and it's because I used a Excel sheet that had probably not the right MAC addresses, which is fine. Yeah. We can do it again. And then if I go back into my dashboard, well, I mean, in the real world, we would not go back into the dashboard, but you can see that the site has been created. And I'm going to do it again, so we can have the validations.
As you're rebuilding it, I think one of the cool things that this shows is that it takes the APIs and the automation allow partners and customers to be able to actually simplify deployments. I think a lot of people kind of forget that the planning of a deployment and the deploying and the configuring takes a lot of time in most traditional networks. And being able to simplify that, I would say, how fast are you able to deploy a network now versus how you used to, would you say?
Well, did you see how long it took me? Yeah.
let you finish to make that work, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how long it took me, right? And I have some of the APs connected in my lab, so some of them should be coming online. But yes, what's going to take me, it's going to take longer for the installer to put those stickers on those APs. It's very fast to deploy a network with the automation if you've if you set it up. And as you can see that the site is now there in Mist. If I go to my install tab, I can actually take a look at the sites that are being deployed. And then as the APs are coming up, we should see the Ottawa site coming up and start giving us data about the access points. We can wait a minute, but yeah, this is kind of like the idea behind this tool. Is you can see some of my APs are getting up. It's gonna, and this is the idea behind this tool is okay. The engineers is going to do the deployment. He's just finalize the Wi-Fi design. He clicks deploys, and it's deployed the way he wants. And then the day of the installation, when the installer starts plugging in the APs, then we can start following the installation. So it doesn't have to be done at one step after the other. It can be done by different people at different times, and I think that's also the flexibility of having these tools. And you can do the same thing with the Mist with the UI interface. But this is just an example, I guess, of what's possible to do with the APIs.
It basically fits your workflow, which is nice. Is the ability to customize to what you need.
Yeah, the problem that we had there is that the customer was doing 5-10 sites over the evening, and it was hard to they would have to open 10 Mist tabs to follow all of the sites. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was not. It was doable. It was just not as convenient as what they wanted. And see, my APs are up. So.
Oh, you had some power issues there. We're going to talk about upgrading your lab gear.
Yeah, we had some power issues, and so you can see now my Ottawa site is on here, and it's telling me that out of my 9 APs, 1 is healthy, 4 are in a warning state, and 4 are critical. And I can look at the map where I actually have 4 APs that are down, that have not been claimed in Mist, because I guess I don't have that many APs in my lab. One is meeting all of the validations, and these are the validations that we kind of checking general status, which is what Mist is giving us. Radio status, it will tell you if the radios are up, how many clients are connected, the transmit power, the channels being used, the channel utilization. It will check the firmware. It will check the PoE power that you're getting. It will check the Ethernet speeds, make sure that you're getting what you want. In this case, you can see I'm connected at 2.5 gig and I'm expecting 1 gig. It will check the Ethernet duplex, the AP orientation against the design, and the AP profile if we have a device profile configured. So if I'm in yellow, it means one of them is not being met. And
that could probably have saved me many, 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 many hours of deployment. So I don't know how many times I've had an installer go, yeah, it's good. AP's above the ceiling, facing the wrong way. And you're just like, yeah, I like the AP orientation. That's a good call out there.
Yeah. So this one is telling me on the floor under the ceiling. And just like Stephen was saying earlier, all of this information is available via the API, right? I'm actually using the exact wording that's being used by the Mist API on the floor. And then we're comparing that to the information we have in the Wi-Fi design. So the API allows us to kind of, get data from 2 different sources and then do the correlation ourselves, if you will. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you wanted to see PoE issues. So here you can see I have a switch that doesn't give me PoE++. So here you can see that, it's going to tell us. It's going to tell us you were drawing 25.5 watt where you actually need 29.3. So you may have some PoE issues there.
It would be a good addition. You might have built this before this was, just because I'm looking at this, is adding the low power state of the AP. So what its actual, because now that's in, you can actually pull that information. So you could say it's now running in 2x2, it's running in degraded.
Yes, you're right. In the Mist dashboard, we now have that information.
Yeah, so you'll be able to pull that. It's a relatively new field, so you'll be able to pull that and add that to your.
Exactly.
That'd be very nice. Very nice. Now, I mean,
Anyway.
we've only really just scratched the surface with this, but you've already shown so much and how powerful it is, Francois. So thank you so much for that. And we've talked about some ways that people can get started on this, but you're a well-traveled man. You attend a lot of events. Is there anywhere someone can see this in action coming up anytime soon, apart from on this podcast?
Yeah, actually, I'll be attending HPE Discover this year for the first time, and we're going to be talking about it. Yeah, and if you want to follow what's going on in the Mist API world, you should definitely follow what Thomas Munzer is doing. I call him Thomas because,
just subscribe to his GitHub and just refresh.
Yes, he's done a lot of work around the Mist API. He has this great site where you can actually try different things for yourself. EPL tools to handle MPSKs, to handle switches. He has a little validation tool as well. He started to work with the MCP, so he built like an MCP server for Mist API. So if any of this resonates with you, you should take a look at what Thomas is doing. And I'm guessing we'll be able to put links in the YouTube show notes. I sound like a YouTuber.
We should definitely put that in there.
And by the way, for the audience, Thomas is on our product management team. He's been, helping us with automation for many years at Mist. So, he knows a lot of tricks and has lots of good resources on his GitHub that Rob mentioned.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think, Francois, we're up with time, aren't we? I think you have to go, don't you, sir?
Yes. Which means that if you guys have questions, you can send it to us or put it into the comments and generate some traction around that video. It would be very much appreciated. And then, I'm sure that will be around. I can always come back for version 2 or follow-up episodes. We haven't really talked about, in the new age of AI, how we can actually leverage these tools to get started the proper way, not, blindly trusting cloud code. So maybe we can do a second episode one day to talk about that.
I think we should definitely come back and revisit how to take it the next step. Yeah.
I think so.
Thank you for having me, guys. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. It was a fun episode. I like APIs and automation because you always see the cool stuff that people are doing. So, hey, Cooper, do you want to close us out?
Sure thing. Yeah, thank you so much, Francois, and thank you, Rob. And thanks for you all for joining for us. MistFits Unmuted, all about APIs and automation, part 1, by the sounds of it. So we've got some more episodes that we're recording that will be coming up, so keep an eye out on our YouTube channel. And if you want any more information about what we talked about, you can comment, as Francois and Rob mentioned, in the channel, or feel free to reach out if you have any interest in Misfits or any other future topics you want to see. I think their email is still mistfits@juniper.net. So with that, thank you very much, everyone.